Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fire Up. I hope we are all fired up tonight.
Absolutely. Bang, bang, Southern Fried Gang.
All right, and we have a special guest in the house tonight. None other than Scott, the Motor City Madmouth, Morganroth. How are you, Mr. Morganroth?
Glad to be on the show. Really, it's great stuff hanging out with you guys. Being a lot of fun. Change of pace, but you know what? You guys don't need me on this show. You're doing an incredible job with the forcing me out. Tonight, I just got the itch to come on and hang out and just let you go ahead and lead the way and for a change, and I get to put an end in.
All right. Samir, how's
Right
your week
on.
going?
Going well. How's yours?
It's going good. JD?
Hey,
How's
we're
your
good,
week?
man. College football is back on the TV, and I'm excited. I'm amped up. I'll be at the Furman William and Mary game on Saturday. Nice press box view, some on-field interviews, little kickoff show before the game starts. So, man, yeah, I'm amped. I'm excited. It doesn't get any better than this time of year.
Yeah.
Jeremy, and how are you?
I am so fired up because the rosters are set.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, and my team is actually playing right now. My college team, the Badgers are playing, and then I get JD. I am going to be at the big game Sunday night, and that would be Notre Dame versus Miami, and I will be on the field taking pictures. So I'm really excited for that, and Scott will be in the press box for that.
That's awesome.
Man, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I just actually found out today, earlier this morning, that I have been approved for press passes to cover Georgia Tech as I just started going there. So I'm going to have press passes for them for this season.
Great stuff, Samir. To be able to cover an ACC team, more
Definitely.
power to you. You get your name out there. All I can tell you, my friend, is talk to a lot of people in the press box, man, and make some connections. You never know if you're going to appear on other people's shows or whatever, get opportunities. I'm really, really happy to hear that, Samir. Great
Thank you.
stuff, pal. You deserve it. You're a hardworking
Yeah,
guy.
congrats.
And
Yep.
good
Thank
things come to hardworking people, Samir. And I see your work. It's really fantastic. I love putting it up on Twitter. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
And I just want, I'll just say congratulations, man. That's awesome. Like
you very
Scott
much.
said, there's so many connections to be made when you're sitting with the press. I don't know if you've done it before, but even
I
just
have covered a couple of
my
hockey.
experience at Furman, basketball games, man, I saw, the News 4 guy, took a picture with him, the guy that covers the news up here for us, like tons of subscribers, tons of followers, clicks. So, man, enjoy it. Go do your thing down there, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Like
And
there's
just the-
it's like I remember I was covering one of the Hawks games last year, and I happened to see Carl Dukes, who's like a big radio personality.
Mhm.
in
Put him
Atlanta.
up.
Put him up.
And
Hey,
that's him. Put him
Yep.
up. Yeah, I've heard him. I listen to him.
Just so
Yeah.
you know there, JD, that is me that kneecap.
Oh, is that you? Okay. That's a
That's
good
me.
name. I like that. That's a good name.
That's the name of my channel for my podcast.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, we've got Sharon over in the chat. We got Patty. We've got, of course, me. So y'all come chop it up. We got plenty to talk about this evening. Man, Candy, I'm assuming you know where we're going to start because as of now, I don't think the rest of us gentlemen here have a clue.
No, I think we're going to start with college football because it just started today. The first game was on earlier, I believe. I don't even know who the
USF.
kickoff was.
It was kickoff at 5:30, Boise and USF. And, man, talk about an upset. I mean, it might not be that big of an upset.
Yeah,
USF
don't ruin
looked really good.
Wait a minute. Wait.
man.
Let me stop you right there. Don't ruin my town. Don't do it. Of course you will anyways. You do have my town on this show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure I'm not losing it. If I have, it doesn't matter. I've already lost it.
Well, I understand, but we're talking college football and the
Okay.
first games. So that's what we're talking about first. I get your town is going to be your alma mater, and they already played tonight, so I get it. I don't know that everybody in this panel knows who your alma mater was, Scott.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
University of South Florida Bulls.
There you go.
Mhm.
I wear that ring. Well, I can't take it off, but I wear that ring proudly.
Amen.
Right.
I have a school that was ideally suited for me. The Bulls, yes. Great
Mhm.
stuff. It
And they
defines
won.
my personality.
And they won, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Walt the dog.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go around the room, around the panel here, and talk about like the matchups that you're excited to see this weekend. You know, is there a particular? I mean, there's some really good matchups. I mean, let's face it, 1 versus 3, I believe, and there's a number of big matchups to start the season, which we normally don't see. Normally, you see a lot of what I would call like cupcake games or payout games. Let's put it to you that way. You know, the smaller schools going up against the big schools, but they get paid to go there, and that's how they finance a lot of their year and stuff like that. But we're seeing some really big matchups this weekend. So, what is there a particular game you guys, any of you, Samir, what game are you most looking forward to?
I mean, right now there's actually 2.
Okay.
One's going on right now. Norfolk State is playing right now. They're playing Towson. They're losing right now 13-7. That's notable because Michael Vick is currently the head coach at Norfolk State. So this is his first game coaching at any level. Another one is the school I'm at right now, Georgia Tech, is playing Colorado. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Georgia Tech is a slight favorite in that game, even though they're on the road. That's what I'm looking forward to. They have a new quarterback, Caden Slater. Colorado does, so it'll be interesting to see what he looks like. Georgia Tech has Hayes King back. He's a redshirt senior. They have Jamal Hayes, who was an All-ACC last year. So it should be an interesting game. So those are the 2 I'm looking forward to.
Jeremy, what 1 or 2 are you looking forward to?
My main one is Texas at Ohio State, because you got Arch Manning as his first time as a season starter versus a guy that never started for OSU. And I want to see how that plays out, because that's that 1 versus 3 matchup, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the other one I like is is it LSU and Clemson this week?
Yeah, 4 and 9.
Yeah. So there's
Clemson
2
number
big,
4, LSU
big,
number
big
9.
top 10 matchups right off the rip. And
Scott. Go ahead, Jeremy. You had any more to say?
Yeah, if Brian Kelly doesn't make it to the playoffs this year, you may see a change in LSU.
Okay, Scott.
Yeah, they're not very patient in Baton Rouge, are they, Jeremy?
No.
They got money to burn when it comes to getting rid of coaches. Well, I'd be curious to see about Florida Atlantic does at Maryland. It'd be really interesting to see how the Owls with a new younger coach does. But of course, how do I not mention Miami against Notre Dame? Keep in mind, though, Notre Dame is 0-6 all time when coming here to Miami. They're 0-3 at the Orange Bowl. I saw one of their games when Miami blew out Notre Dame 20-0 at the Orange Bowl. And then the other one, you know, you got Miami and Notre Dame, and then Florida Atlantic against Maryland. Those will be 2 intriguing matchups, right?
JD, what ones are you looking forward to?
I'll hit one of the ones that hasn't been mentioned yet. Syracuse at Tennessee. Also, they're playing in Atlanta, neutral site. Tennessee, new quarterback after the Nico Iamaleava situation where he requested more NIL money and didn't get it. Well, I guess you could say demand, not really request. So they have Joey Aguilar coming in. Josh Heupel, very good quarterback coach. It'll be interesting to see if Aguilar can fit the build and perform under Heupel like the other quarterbacks do. On the other side of it, though, Fran Brown, got a good buddy of mine down here in Simpsonville, played football with Fran Brown at Western Carolina. He was a linebacker on the team, and if I remember right, I think Fran was a defensive back, maybe. Could be wrong on that. but they did in fact play together. That's about the extent of what I know. And I know that Fran Brown has Syracuse playing very good football. Upset Miami last year at last game to put Clemson into the ACC title game. So I think Syracuse is 14-point dogs to Tennessee. I just don't see that being that large of a point spread. And then, of course, my other team, Gamecocks Hokies. Looking forward to that one. Gamecocks typically start slow. They also don't do well with preseason hype. Lenore Sellers has Heisman hype surrounding him. They also have playoff aspirations. And so until we know more about the football team, which won't happen until probably game 3, I am just really uncomfortable right now looking forward to the game. I don't know whether to be anxious or excited or prepared for a loss even. So the Gamecocks Hokies game is going to be a close game. And then, let me mention this one real quick. Nebraska and Cincinnati. I've seen some people really high on Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, Matt Rule going into year 3. I'm not too sure that Nebraska can't make some noise either.
Yep, I hear you. So if I'm gonna repeat, of course, because Scott and I are both going to cover Notre Dame and Miami, and I'm interested to see how Miami moves on from Cam Ward and how Beck does. I'm also interested to see how some wide receivers do, because that's the one area I'm not sure that they have solidified as well. Obviously Restrepo moved on, and so it'll be interesting. I'm always interested in the Wisconsin Badgers. Obviously, this is year 3 for Luke Fickell, and this is really going to be I would say this is a make or break year, although I've heard that Wisconsin has one of the hardest schedules out there. So I don't know, but Luke Fickell has not had the success that I think a lot of people thought when he moved that he would have. He has had some bad luck, like the quarterbacks have gone down. But one of the games that I'm also interested in is Alabama, Florida State, and see how that game turns out. Florida State did not have a good year last year, but let's see how they rebound and how they do against Alabama, who's ranked 8th going into the season. So, any other teams anybody wants to talk about?
Well, Candy, let me preface this. I'm not so sure I'd be too hard on Wisconsin just yet. I just wouldn't. I mean, I think you got to give him Luke Fickell quite a few years to establish his footing. Bad luck with the quarterbacks, that's too bad. But give the guy a chance to establish his. Not just because the people of Wisconsin aren't used to seeing passing up there. It does work. Okay, they're so spoiled with the ground game, and I know that you compare him against the other one, but tell you, Luke Fickell leaves Wisconsin. He's going to do well somewhere else, and I wouldn't be so quick to get rid of this guy. I'm just telling you what I think, Ken. I just don't. I think with his aerial attack.
I understand and hear you, but I also know that last year was the first year in 21 years that the Badgers did not get to a bowl game. In 21 years. I mean, and I'm not saying they had to go for a national championship. They didn't even make a bowl game. And for the Badgers, that's kind of where I put, like, I measure, and
so let me ask you this, though. If they make a bowl game, you're going to get off his back?
It depends on how they look. It depends on how they look.
And the second thing about the Miami receivers, when I was doing my best at the media day to identify a few of those guys. So I encourage a lot of individuals that want to know about the Miami receivers, go to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. I did single out 2 or 3 guys that could make an impact on the field this weekend, and well, beyond now, I'll be curious to see how well those interviews that came up with translate to numbers on the field under Carson Beck. So it'll be pretty interesting for sure. So you make some pretty interesting points there. You do.
So I will say, yes, go over to our YouTube channel. Scott and I went to what's called Media Day for Miami Hurricanes, and it gives us a chance to interview some of the players. He interviewed Carson Beck. He also interviewed a couple of coaches, the running back coach, Jason Taylor. So go over to our YouTube channel and check that out. JD, I know you had kind of your hand up because you wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to mention one other game too that I don't think we touched on yet. Bill Belichick, his debut. I think maybe Samir, you might have mentioned that earlier, but did y'all see the story about Bill and his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen that? You saw it, Samir? Jeremy, any of you guys?
Too many of them.
Oh my goodness! So yeah, this one just came out. They're apparently trying to start a new jewelry line, like selling jewelry, like a new jewelry company, basically. And they trademarked or requested to trademark the phrase "gold digger."
Yeah, I saw
Yep.
that.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Dominating the news with the most random headline ever.
Nothing like Jordan putting her own nickname out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing that trips me out though, real quickly about UNC is they fired Mac Brown or mutually parted ways, whatever you want to call it, because he was too old. And then they hire a guy that's actually older than the coach they just got rid of. And so while Bill Belichick obviously is a fantastic football coach, we all know that the NFL and the NCAA are two totally different things. So I'm going to be really curious to see how it shakes out with Bill. And then my one other big question I have is, can Deion Sanders perform without Travis Hunter and his sons?
Yeah. So JD Wyatt, I want to send a special thank you right now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mentioning the word gold digger, because I can guarantee you that headline will never make Inside the Pigskin. I promise it will never make it. That's good. So it's exclusive on Fire Up. I am not putting that up. I struggled to put something up the other day on Inside the Pigskin with Belichick and his girlfriend. I will not. I had to talk about engaged in a different way. They've got to be engaged in this team. But gold digger, I'm staying away from it. Good stuff, JD Wyatt. I'm proud of you, man. You come a long way in the system, but I'm not talking gold digger.
Stay away from the word and stay away from actual gold diggers.
Yeah, and not only that, stay away from the idea. You took care of it for me tonight. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, speaking of gold diggers, Travis Hunter posted on his Instagram yesterday that he and his girlfriend are pregnant. So
I thought he was born. I thought the baby was born.
Their child was born today.
Oh, it was. Oh, I thought she was pregnant.
No, she was. Yeah, they found out they were pregnant right a while back.
Oh, okay.
And the child was born today.
Yeah, and then
they were going.
So Samir, all you have to do to change that there is to say was pregnant. That's all.
Right.
Was.
Speaking of Bill Belichick, I think we might have talked about it on the show maybe a week or so ago. I guess somebody asked him about how being a college coach is different than coaching in the NFL, and then it still seems like there's really no love lost between him and Robert Kraft. He's kind of took shots at Robert Kraft, saying, "Yeah, in college there's no owner or owner's kid."
Yeah, I heard about that.
We got DC 8091 over here. He mentions the Kelsey Swift jerseys, and y'all, I thought it was hilarious. Someone posted the other day that he's actually going to take her last name, Swift, and so he's gonna have Swift. They photoshopped the jersey with him and it said Swift on the back. I thought that was pretty good.
Okay.
Oh man, Dylan Raiola looks sharp. Oof, that was a nice pass.
Well, okay. Well, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about Dallas. What were they thinking? What is Jerry Jones doing to Dallas and their team this year?
You know, the interesting part is I jinxed it, because last week I was saying that the way negotiations with Jerry Jones and his players usually work are player wants to get paid. Jerry Jones drags it out, gets into a standoff. Both sides kind of publicly throw each other under the bus, and right before the season, Jerry Jones caves, the player gets paid and ends up getting paid more than what they would have gotten if Jerry Jones had paid them right before. But I think this is probably the first homegrown star that has actually gotten traded. Like, even after the trade request, it was like, okay, yeah, Jerry Jones will cave as usual. Mike is going to get paid. And then I see the notification on my phone saying that, oh, Micah Parsons got traded to the Packers. and it was like I didn't know. I had the
I
same.
thought it was fake.
I thought it was fake. Then it was like, oh yeah, yeah. That's Adam Schefter reported. I'm like, wow. And
You know,
and I kind of feel bad for the city of Dallas. They lost Luca, and now they lost Micah Parsons.
Right.
But what's mind-boggling to me is number one, Jerry Jones during his press conference was talking about like first off, he's like, yeah, well, we need to stop the run. Like when defending his trade, because Kenny Clark, one of the better defensive tackles in the league, was a part of that trade. He's like, yeah, well, we need to stop the run. Well, you just traded a generational talent. Like, and then it got better. And then he's like, yeah, well, I paid Dak last year, and we've got Dak, and I don't. It's like okay, Jerry.
Right. And I'll say this too about Jerry. He needs to stop being the GM. It's ridiculous. He's come out. He's even said that he wants, headlines more than he wants wins. I think they found that in like a Netflix documentary. And then, yes, you have him a few years ago saying you can't let the inmates run the asylum. It's just, I don't know what his deal is, but at least he did do right by Micah Parsons in this situation, because he could have held Micah hostage for 3 more years. Could have had him the rest of this year and 2 franchise years.
I thought they got rid of the first franchise tag after Saquon, or did they keep it?
That might be a good question, but I did hear someone stating that today, that Jerry Jones could have had him for 3 more years. So, credit for him though, biting the bullet, trading him. I personally wouldn't have traded him. I would have done whatever it took to work it out and try to get him to stay. Micah Parsons, as you said, generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jones, man, your fans want you to die. And I'm sorry, but that is the absolute truth. The fans of the Cowboys are ready for Jerry Jones to pass away. But unfortunately, you can't say that it'll get any better with Jerry Jones' son when he becomes owner.
Even worse.
So,
yeah. My thing is like, again, it's like the Luka trade. Like there is no justifying that trade. Like you're not going to get a player that is Micah Parsons caliber with any of those picks. Well, or the chances of that are slim to none, especially with the fact that now those are the Packers picks. They're officially in that Super Bowl contention now. I might have to take back the Bears winning that division, but yeah. So that the chances of you getting a player of Micah Parsons caliber with that pick are basically slim to none. So,
right.
Jeremy, you ready? You're I can
here's the thing about Micah Parsons, and this is the reason why Jerry ended up not paying him and trading him. If you look at the bulk of his sacks, they come between week 1 and Thanksgiving. Once Thanksgiving passes, from December through the playoffs, his sacks go down to 1% of what he gets throughout the season. His pressure rate drops to only 10% of what he got throughout the season on an average in a game. So he disappears when the clutch time comes in. How many times, if he'd have been able to get a sack, especially, or if he could have stopped Aaron Jones in that playoff game, or if he could have stopped, the 3 broken people that was with the Philadelphia Eagles that year when they trounced them. That is the reason that all you got to do to beat Micah Parsons is run at him. He is a liability in the run game, and he over pursues and takes himself out of the play and ends up having to get his tackle by chasing behind. But by that time, the guy has 15 to 20 yards when he catches them. So I understand why he said, okay, I'm not giving this guy as much money as TJ Watt. I'm not giving this guy as much money as Myles Garrett. So let's give him to somebody else who will. And I'm not saying it won't help the Packers, because it will help the Packers with their pass rush. That was the thing they did not address in the draft or free agency. So this does improve their pass rush. Yeah. But the teams that have played against them know exactly what to do to take him, to tire him out, so the end of the game you can pass over him. because that's what Detroit did in Dallas last year when we beat them 49-6 or 7 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Jeremy, but the knock doesn't show up in the clutch logic, kind of goes out the window, because a year ago you paid a quarterback who's going into year 10, only has 2 playoff wins, $230 million. Only has 2 playoff wins. Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud already have the same number of playoff wins as Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has only 1 more playoff win in his career than Kirk Cousins does. So that clutch stuff kind of goes out the window when you've paid guys who have gotten injured. You had a running back, Zeke, showed up to training camp out of shape. You gave him $50 million. So I feel like that kind of like, I don't know.
I
Jerry,
understand that. I didn't want them to pay Dak like that because that set the market going forward for other guys. But at the same time, you can't look at it from what the past is. You got to look at it for what it is. And he wanted generational talent. And if your stats disappear in the clutch part of the season, Dak still won games as a quarterback during that time.
Okay. But what happened against San Francisco in the playoffs? What happened the year later against San Francisco? And now the Green Bay game 2 years ago, the entire team fell apart. But Dak did throw 2 interceptions, including a pick 6 at the end of the first half. So it's like, I don't know.
Right.
Scott,
Well, hey, Jerry even said, yeah, hold on. Let me just say this real quick, and Scott, go right ahead after this. Jerry even said that he got rid of Micah because they need to be able to stop the run. Literally words that came out of Jerry Jones' mouth.
Here's the thing. They were 26th in rushing defense last year, the Dallas Cowboys were. With Kenny Clark on the Packers, their biggest run stuffer up the middle, they were 14th. So there's a big disparity there. I would rather have that run stuffer up the middle than a guy that's going to disappear from Thanksgiving through the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. That Packers defense will be top 10 this year.
Let me know when I can say a few things because I've been waiting for a while. I don't
know.
want to dominate the show. I'm the guest here, so it doesn't make any difference. Number one, couple items. Here's what Dallas should have done. They should have hired Kellen Moore over Ryan Schottenheimer, number one. That's item number one. Item number two, let's talk about the trade details. What did Dallas get and what did Green Bay get? We know besides Michael. I want to know all the particulars in this trade. Somebody has it, right?
So they got a
top pick in
one at a time.
There's a first round pick in 2026, a first round pick in 2027, and Kenny Clark.
Kenny Clark.
Correct. Yes.
So
who came out? Who was a draft pick back in 2016, and he's played in he's done a really good job for the Packers.
So you got a regular proven player along with 2 number ones. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now let me break it down a little further. To Jerry Jones's credit, his draft track record is pretty good. He does find a way to make some quality draft choices. After all, one of them that he made got shipped to Green Bay. Now, Ryan Schottenheimer is on even more house money than he was before because he inherited a bad situation that just got worse. You don't know how those number one draft choices are going to play out in a couple of years. But here's the thing. Let's take it from a Green Bay standpoint. There's one name that entered my mind when Micah Parsons got traded there. Can anybody guess who that one name that entered my mind when he ended up getting shipped to Dallas? Jeremy?
What's that?
Anybody can enter the one person. I had one guy that entered my mind, okay, that was with Green Bay when this trade was made. Can you guess who that individual was?
No.
What about you, Candy?
No.
What about you, Samir?
Nope.
What about you, JD?
I'll take a stab at it. Jair Alexander.
Nope, you're all wrong. This trade will be as impactful for Green Bay as Reggie White's signing was many years ago.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to come on this show. Reggie White got reborn in Green Bay under the name of Micah Parsons. And let me tell you, when Reggie White went to Green Bay, oh my goodness, okay, Super Bowl, and they all started to come. Now, if you're Aaron Rodgers, okay, I'm thinking, man, what did the Packers do this offseason? They drafted a wide receiver in what, the first round? Really? Seriously? Really? Now they got Micah Parsons. Really? Seriously? Really? This team has a chance to be pretty good. Really? Seriously? Really? Yeah. So the bottom line is Green Bay. What are they now? The favorites to win it? I'm not going that far because I'm going to ride with smoking on this. If the guy's bad against the run, all you have to do is have a pretty good run offense, and you can walk right through them. And Jerry made some good examples of it. I have to reiterate what the guy already said. Ballrick knows what the hell he's talking about. He's been with me for a while, and he's done a lot of good things by himself. But the way I look at this is a big trade for Green Bay because you got Micah Parsons, the new version of Reggie White. And when you have a new version of Reggie White who caused havoc back there, the only thing I can tell you is Tylenol 3, 5, 10, whatever the heck you are, you're going to impose a lot of headaches in some people. Take it from the guy that gets them every 5 seconds every day of the week. Can't tell you what the over-under is there, okay? But the reality is, hey, Ralph Williams, if by chance you're listening, and I've really been waiting to get this out, there are not 1,000 hours a week. There's only 168 hours a week, okay? But I can tell you I have more headaches than, I just want to make sure Ralph knows that there's only 168 hours a week, not 1,000. Why am I bringing this up? Because there's going to be an awful lot more than 168 headaches with all the different things that are going to be going on in that division because this guy is there. Because the one thing I can tell you about the Wayne Fontes era is he always wanted somebody that could get to the quarterback. It's what he always wanted to do. Why do you think they made that bold trade many years ago when they acquired Pat Swilling on draft day for Willie Roaf, who subsequently landed in the Hall of Fame? It was a good trade for both teams for a while, but we know New Orleans got the Hall of Famer and the Lions got the immediate pass rusher. Pass rushers are the trend these days. So and that's what they are.
Speaking on that note, Scott, I just want to say this. Parsons has posted at least 12 sacks in each of his seasons in the league. Green Bay hasn't had a player record double-digit sacks in a campaign since Zadarius Smith in 2020.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith is out there as a free agent. I should ask Jeremy, what do you think the likely possibility that the Lions are going to sign him? They left him out there all day long. Who do you think would be the best option for Zadarius Smith? I'm glad he brought up Candy.
Well, he has talked to 3 other teams in the last week, and no deal has been done with them. And he's tweeted cryptically about wanting to come back to Detroit.
Okay.
Brad offered him a deal, I guess, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the rumored deal was a 2-year, $23.5 million, but it's spread out with 2 void years over 4 years to make the cap hit about 6.25.
Okay.
So I still think he may end up with Detroit by Sunday.
Okay. I hope you're right, Jeremy. I wasn't curious. I hadn't heard anything, so that's why I wanted to come directly because Candy brought him up in terms of pass rushing with the Packers. Thanks for clarifying that.
Because
if you're right, that'll be on Inside the Pigskin, by the way. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility one of these days as a reunion, bring on that show with the group I have. I got some heavy hitters on that show. So pay attention and start watching it.
Right. And the one thing I wanted to expand on what you said, Scott, was how Micah Parsons going to the Packers. It's a new destination. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a fresh start. Sometimes that's just what players need. Their motivation all of a sudden goes through the roof. It's possible that players get depressed and miserable in certain situations. Why else would you request a trade? You're not going to do it if you're happy. So obviously Micah wasn't happy. Him going to Green Bay, though, like you said, can it be a rejuvenation like Reggie White? Could this dude just take over the NFC North? Maybe he could be the run stopper that we're sitting here saying that he hasn't been. Sometimes when players get dealt, it's for the betterment of themselves, and even sometimes it helps the team itself. But I don't think it's going to help the Cowboys in this situation.
Well, I don't think there's any question you're right about that. Here's the thing. Let me take it a step further, JD, okay? But I heard that the possibility that Parsons could go to Green Bay, I thought, you know what, there's a chance that Green Bay's willing to overpay to get him there, and they would. Jordan Love has all the goods that Aaron Rodgers wanted. Oh, I was too busy, was sick and tired of as drama goes with Aaron Rodgers. But I'm gonna tell you something: the Packers have something good, and what they did is swing for the fences on this move, and they send their fan base. I don't know how long the waiting list was before. It's going to get longer now with this one because this is a monumental move in Green Bay. I just always thought that Green Bay, if you've ever been to Lambeau Field, and Samir, I've been there a few times because I have some pretty good connections out there with Lee Remmel and all the people I know. That's a heck of a place. And to be able to have Micah Parsons shoot out of that back to go after a quarterback is unbelievable. You know, I'm gonna tell you one thing about Micah Parsons. The one thing I understand is he wanted you to deal with me directly, not my agents. And when you started to get into that little business back and forth about agent versus all that, there's no cotton picking way that was going to go. When you're starting to get a little bit nasty between agent, I want to deal with him only versus the agent, you know darn well this wasn't going to end well anyway. You just knew it wasn't. So what did Jerry want to do? I'm going to rid myself of this whole thing before the season starts. I don't know what everybody thought the Cowboys' expectations were going into the year, but they know they're a whole lot less than they are because they made this trade. I mean, draft choices are a crapshoot. You don't always get first-round picks right. You just don't.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you just don't. You want to hope and pray they do. Jerry's done all right, but all of a sudden you've lost an impact player that you actually drafted and developed. I don't care if you think you're going to go ahead and saddle him with the 2 franchise tags later on. Give me a break, Jerry. You know, the biggest mistake that ever was made was Jimmy Johnson was let go, and then Barry Switzer got handed a piece of jewelry he didn't deserve. Then I had a chance to talk to Jimmy Johnson about that at the Super Bowl as well, and Jimmy was laughing anyways because he did all the work to swindle the Vikings. You know, I'm not trying to bore you guys with history. I'm really not. But I'm just trying to go by the history. When you cover the league as long as I've covered this league in a lot of different ways, it's pretty hard to say that history lies, right?
Right.
It just does. But again, the first thing to enter my mind, Reggie White, welcome back for the second coming of Green Bay. Only his name is Micah Parsons.
Right. Well, hey, Scott, can I ask you this question too? It came in on a comment. It wasn't really a question they asked, but it pops into my question. So, Candy Tony, there was one, and they sent the chat's blowing up. Thank you, all you guys, for being here. Kane, P Digits, Go Pack all day. We've had, who else have we had in here? We've had
Jim Jackson, Sopa.
Yeah, DC8091, all of these people. Thank y'all very much. And then Tony, though, he says, Jerry's got to go, period. Worst decision since letting Ware go. And then he goes on a little bit more to say, here's where the question comes in. It'll be fine. Winners are going to kill Micah. He can't play in the snow. It is very much different weather, and he's going from playing in a dome to outdoors now. How do you see that affecting Micah going forward this year?
Well, number one, I don't think it's going to affect as much as most people think because, first of all, the first so many games at Green Bay aren't going to be played in the snow. You don't play in the snow in Minnesota. You don't play in it in Detroit because you have a dome, and Chicago, depending on when they're scheduled there. So it's not going to be as big a deal as most people think. I really don't think it will. Again, and before long, Chicago's getting a dome stadium as well. So if he's there for at least that 4 years, depending. So again, let's face the reality: everybody on the planet is getting a new stadium. So I don't think it'll be as big a deal as it is. You can't say he hasn't played in snow because when he played for the Cowboys, didn't he play in New York? Didn't he play in Philadelphia? Didn't he play in Washington? It's not like they don't have snow up there, depending on the time of the year, right? So it's not like he's never seen snow. You live in Florida, right? You've never seen snow. He's seen it before. He knows it's white, right? And he knows that it could be a problem. I don't think it'll have as big of a factor as most people think.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Kane, he asked you, says a question or says a comment to you guys. Jeremy and Scott, it's only a loss for Dallas, but I still don't think the Packers are taking the NFC North. What do you say about that, guys?
Well, number one, I don't think it's a given that the Packers going to win it all. I really don't. You get him, okay, but you still have to have good play with the quarterback and the wide receiver blessing. If they don't, and here's the biggest thing too. Sorry, Candy. I don't think that a lot of people know what they're going to see out of Detroit yet because they didn't see much of them during the preseason. Go ahead, Candy.
Well, I'm going to say I don't know that anybody knows who's going to take this division with all the changes that everybody's had. You guys had both coordinators change. The Packers now obviously have had some changes. Minnesota has J.J. McCarthy. As I just don't think we know who's going to take this division and who's improving and who's going to take a step back. And you can't look at the preseason and judge because nobody played all of their guys in the preseason at the same time. So you really can't throw that out. That was a judgmental, who do we want to keep on our team? Not who, not, this is a number one string against your number one string, and this is who's going to be playing in the regular season. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I agree. We don't know. But what we do know is that the last 2 years in a row it was Detroit, and I expect a three-peat.
Well, we also know in the last 2 years as well that we all know that Ben Johnson was a coveted head coaching target, finally landing in his spot in Chicago. We also know that Aaron Glenn was a coveting head coaching target, and I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think Aaron Glenn is going to fail badly in New York. I really believe that in my mind, and I'll tell you why. He's going to cave to the New York media. Is what he's going to do if things don't go right. I don't think this guy's ready for a stage like that when you got 9 million media members second guessing every move that he has, and his quarterback situation isn't all that great either. So I mean, I'm just giving now Ben Johnson. Time will tell. I know it's a make or break year for Caleb Williams. I really do, much more than most people think. Justin Fields, I thought would have been all right in Chicago, but Caleb Williams came in. So, they changed the coordinators. But doesn't mean just because you change coordinators that the ones you get afterwards aren't as good, if not better, depending on their background. Because as I understand correctly, Jeremy, correct me on this as well, because I'm leaning on you here, okay, pal? Yep. Didn't the previous Johnson get trained under Johnny Morton, something like that, or he was working with him?
Johnny Morton was working with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff to help build Ben Johnson's playbook that year.
Thank you. That's what I'm asking you for.
Yep.
So it's not like there's a seamless transition there on that side of the ball. Now, Kellen Shepard, I don't know as much about, but I think that Dan Campbell went out there internally, brought up these people, know that they were ideal replacements, and he's been thinking about this for a couple of years anyway. It just so happens that these individuals earned the opportunity to get those positions.
Yep. And also, let's not forget Calvin Shepard was the linebackers coach and assistant DC behind Aaron Glenn the entire time. And now they're saying we're going to run more of a 4-3 instead of the 4-2-5 as the base, but it's also going to run the 3-4 as a hybrid.
In a perfect world, that's what you want happening. You want your coordinators to move on and get head coaching jobs, and guess what? You want the next guy on your staff already there, already training, already knows the system, and you just plug and play. In a perfect world, in a perfect football team, that's what you want. But it doesn't always go that way.
Seamless transition is what you're going, and you're on target there, man.
And according, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, I was just gonna mention Kane's comment here. He says his hope is for Micah to demolish the Bears' offense that we were kind of talking about all there together there for a minute. But y'all go ahead.
But the other thing is Calvin Shepard, the one thing he wants to do is to be more aggressive with the blitz packages, which is something we begged for 3 straight seasons with AG at the helm. So I'm looking forward to see what he does, because if he increases the blitz rate, and let's face it, they tripled the blitz rate from last year, but they had to, because with Aiden Hutchinson out, they had to send the whole house half the time just to be able to get home at the end.
Well, let me mention something that I heard from Rob Gronkowski. I saw on Instagram. He does believe the Lions are going to get to the Super Bowl. You know why? He thought they would have gotten there last year if they didn't have 14 defensive players going out with injury, and they still ended up doing. And in fact, I'll even take it a step further. Gronkowski goes on to predict that it'll be the Lions and the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl with one of those teams breaking through.
That's what I wanted last year.
That'd be a fun one. Yeah. I mean, my pick was the Ravens and the Rams with Lamar finally getting over the hump. But yeah, about the NFC North. I mean, I think, Candy, as you mentioned, there's no really determination at this time on who's going to win that division. I mean, look, the Packers could win it like their position to do right now, or the Lions could three-peat. Maybe J.J. McCarthy hits and Minnesota ends up winning it. Or it could be like I predicted, the Bears end up winning it. But if I were to have a favorite right now, it would obviously be Green Bay. And I think the fun part about it is that you would have Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, and Edgerrin Cooper all rushing the quarterback in late December, early January in the playoffs when the games are a lot closer and you need to get stops. And now, from what it seems like, they just got Jordan Love, a wide receiver one.
See, Samir, you nailed a bullseye with that one, and I'll tell you why you did. You're bringing up Rashawn Gary, right? The guy out of Michigan. This guy here doesn't get enough credit because he's buried up in Green Bay is what he is and doesn't get it. This guy out of Michigan, one of Jim Harbaugh's boys, did a heck of a job, and to have him alongside of Micah Parsons, that's a pretty dangerous combination. It really is up in Green Bay. I'm glad you brought that up, Samir. Gary does not get enough respect around the league, although the Packers love him too. They do. That's why they gave him that extension is what they did.
Right. And I think the part that's interesting is that the Packers, I think, do have a new president. Like they're a publicly owned team, but they have a team president. They have a new president. And I think traditionally for them, it's not their philosophy to go out and make big moves. So they get a wide receiver in the first round. They hadn't done it in over 20 years. And then they go out and make a splash move, which is so maybe this new team president will be a little more aggressive. Maybe be a change in philosophy. Who knows?
And to your point, what we hadn't talked about the immediate extension that Micah Parsons got. 4 years,
Right.
$188 million. I think 136 or so of it was fully guaranteed. So someone mentioned in the comments a minute ago as well, did Green Bay give up too much? Did they sign too big of a contract for Micah? How do we feel about the money side of this, guys? Do y'all? I mean, I'm good with it. I'm not that much of a Packers fan, but I don't think that deal puts them in cap hell.
Well, the thing is over $100 million on two guys on the defense, plus what Jordan Love makes on the offense. It's going to make it harder to keep this young team together later down the road. Not so much right now, but in 2 or 3 years when those contracts get to their balloon payments, because everybody does it. You go low in the front and you balloon it to the back, and then you got to restructure, kick the can down the road, and cost yourself cap later on. So ask the Saints how it did after they did that with Drew Brees, because they've been in 80 million to 90 million over the cap every year and kick it down the road just to sign their draft piece.
Well, all right. So here, go ahead, Samir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The difference between the Packers and the Saints is that ever since Sean Payton left, the Saints drafting under Mickey Loomis has gotten a lot worse. The Packers usually draft well. They're one of the better drafting teams in the NFL year in and year out, across multiple rounds, not just the first round like a lot of teams are. But yeah, when you get into cap hell and you're restructuring money, it's a lot easier to stay in contention when you draft well, because like it's easier to let some guys walk when you've drafted a guy who you know can produce right and you can just plug him right in.
So here's what you have in Green Bay. They've already they made their statement.
Yeah,
we're in win now mode. Period.
I was going to say the same thing in a minute, Scott. Perfect. Love it.
Sorry about that, JD. I know it's your
No, it's fine.
So here, they're win now mode. They don't care what happens in 3 years for crying out loud. Really? Seriously? Really? They want to win now. They got a new president. They want to win now. The draft a wide receiver high. They want to win now. Jordan Love, they want to make sure he was the ideal heir apparent to it. That's what they want to do. They're not worried about it. Did they pay too much? I don't think so. You'll know if you pay too much, because if they felt they paid too much, they wouldn't have made the trade in the first place. They want to win now. They feel that this guy is one of the differences to go out there and get them over the top. And I'll tell you, more power to them. I don't know who their new president is. Yeah, they're publicly owned and all that stuff. That doesn't matter. They want to win now. And what they're telling their fan base in the state of Wisconsin is, we're willing to put our chips right forward and we want to win now. Doesn't matter who the hell's in that division. I mean, they're all competitive. The Bears have improved. The Packers have been good. Minnesota, I think, I don't know how good they are. And the Lions, I'll be curious to see. I don't think they're going to win 15 games.
No.
If I were the Lions, I would venture on a record of maybe 12-5, maybe is what that's the neighborhood I'm thinking of them. But it doesn't matter. They couldn't get to the NFC Championship with a 15-2 record in the first place. So give me 12-5 and get to the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. Get in the damn tournament and then be done with it. So that's an interesting division. It really, really is. So I don't think the Packers paid too much. They paid what they wanted. They feel they can win it. More power to them. I'm not like Candy, okay? That I'm all Packers and all this and that. Although she's really nice to pull for the Lions once in a while when the Packers. I have no issue with the Packers. When the Lions never won it, I always pull for the Packers. I have friends with the Packers. I mean, there ain't nobody better to guide me through my problems than Lee Remmel. He was, to me, was somebody I looked up to. I don't know if you know who he is, JD, but he was a Packers historian. And when I covered my first Super Bowl, it should be in there. I don't know if you got to that part yet or not, but when I got a little bit nervous, Lee called me down. You're okay. You deserve to be here, and if anything I can do to help you, I'll do it. And he always credentialed me when I went up to Lambeau as well as the other Packers people. But I love the Packers. I really, really do. I have no problem with them at all. Of course, I got a good Packers girl too. That's not so bad, but that was long before she came into the picture. But still, It is what it is. Hey, you know what? I just want to see somebody from the NFC North win it.
Mm. And
I don't
speaking
think the Vikings going to. Yeah, Carson Wentz may be a good backup to J.J. McCarthy, but that's far from the difference in getting the Vikings into the tournament.
Right. And yeah, speaking of your Candy, the Packers fan, we'll get her thoughts right after I mention these couple of comments that Kane got in there. Also, Jim is commenting, sending in great stuff. Tiger Stripes Media is still here. P Digits. Oh, and Dan, he put out a good post or comment saying Green Bay will be eating $35 million in dead money by trading Kenny Clark. They are now left with only $1.4 million in cap space. So that's a good tidbit of information. And then Kane and P Digits, they going back and forth, but P Digits, he kills me. He said publicly owned. Kmart and Toys R Us are both publicly owned, and you see how they turned out. They're shut down. And that's really interesting is how the Packers do handle that side of their business, not the traditional format. So, Candy, with all of that said, give us your fan thoughts of Micah Parsons to the Packers.
So, the one area that the Packers had not addressed, they now addressed because they, like Jeremy had said earlier in the show, that, we drafted wide receivers. But one of the spots that we were worst in last year in our defense was what we just addressed. Now, is he going to be the spark that Reggie White was to the Packers? Remains to be seen. Will he give a better effort in November through and December, Jeremy? We don't know because he's going to be on a new team with a new defense, new players. The one thing I will say about any of our teams, injuries are going to matter. And not so much maybe on the defense for you guys, because obviously you guys were able to overcome most of those. But any of our key quarterbacks or any of our key players, I don't know that all the teams have the depth that if there is a key injury to one of the key players, that might knock any of these teams out.
Oh, 100%. That's a fact because we saw it. Like he said, it was. I think it was a little less. The 14th player went down in the first quarter of the Washington game off of the defense, but we had 18 players on the AR going into the game, on the IR going into the game, and that one player was a big reason why Washington hadn't scored on their first two drives. That was Amik Robertson. Once he went down and Kendall Vildor came in, we couldn't stop a cold.
So, right. I mean, there's a reason why we play the game, and we're all talking about, hey, this player and this team, but any given team can beat any given team on a Sunday or Saturday or Monday, depending on Thursday night, whatever night you're playing. And that's why we love the game. That's why we watch it.
Yeah, wasn't it last year that we saw the Bears beat Green Bay for the first time in 22 outings?
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a long time.
So Candy and Scott and me apparently are all on the same wavelength, because Scott earlier, he hit us with the win now mode that I was thinking about saying.
Right.
And now Candy over here, she takes a little bit of a take that I was going to share with you guys about the mystique of college football. You don't know who's going to win. We can sit here and say, I think Carolina is going to beat Atlanta and blah, blah, blah for these reasons. But at the end of the day, we ain't got no idea what's going to happen. We do not know what we do not know, period. And then, yes, Kane, I've thought it was Friday all day today for some reason.
I like that extension question there that Big Dan asked. Could Hutch get 50 million with the cap going up 20 to 30 million every year? It's a possibility. I doubt it. I think eventually the owners are going to do like they did, because look, nobody's gotten close to 60 after Dak. It's all been 55 or less at the quarterback room. So there's going to be that reset coming up. Will it get to 50? Maybe, but it might be reset now where they start making it to where it's 42 to 38 million for a pass rusher instead.
Well, let me ask you a question. How many people played T-ball when they were growing up as a kid in Little League?
I did, yeah.
Raise your hand, everybody. Guess who's going to be playing it this fall? Dak Prescott, because they're going to be playing T-ball on this guy, and you don't have any serious defensive threat as well. They're going to be teeing off on this guy. This guy, if you think he had injury problems before, you don't have anybody scare the daylights out of him. So T-ball should be a hashtag for this show, Candy, and I know you come up with them anyway. T-ball should be it, because here's the reality. Now you got Dak Prescott at $60 million. I don't know who the heck you have left, and I don't really care. I care about as much of the Packers. The Cowboys as I care about the Miami Dolphins. I don't. I don't care. So the reality of the situation is Brian Schottenheimer took a thankless job that just got thankless more. And does anybody feel sorry for him? No. Because, you're getting the Jerry Jones of 2025 is what you're getting.
Yeah.
I have to deal directly with a player, not the agent. Why? You're afraid that you're going to put something past a player legalized that you can't put past an agent? No. Not going to do it.
Right. And then P Digit said, if you ever want to be right, just ask him. He knows. And then we have Kane. He comments about it as well. He says you can make a very educated prediction about who will win based on data. If talent matches up, coaching matters. If talent is disproportionate, you can guess the more talented team will win.
Yeah, you should let them know that Cooper. You should let them know Cooper Rush is with the Baltimore Ravens too. So
yeah,
he was. Right, he was. I don't think.
Isn't Joe Milton the backup at the top? Yep, Joe Milton is the backup, and I think he might, if Dak starts being Dak or Mr. Dakota Rain Prescott, as he's known as, if he starts being Rain, which is when he's whiny and playing bad, you might see Joe Milton come in, because he had some big throws this preseason that was on target.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Jerry Jones is looking to get closer to Arch Manning, this move made sure he got a little bit closer to him with the way this team is going to plummet.
Yeah, I mean,
think about that.
And then also, I just can't imagine what the ripple effect is now, because, you got Pickens, who probably at this point is not re-signing there. So basically, you burned a third-round pick on a guy who's not going to re-sign there. And then when Pickens walks and the Cowboys have a bad season, there are two things that are possible. Jerry Jones doesn't like to fire coaches, but is it possible that Schottenheimer goes one and done? Is it possible?
You know what? That's a good question.
I think it's highly likely. I think it's. Not highly likely, but he could be one and done if it's bad enough.
Like if they go 5-12,
you know what? For some reason, I think it's possible, but I don't think it's lately, because you have to determine, Samira, what coaches are out there who you would replace them with before you make that decision. I wouldn't say never, but I'm not saying likely either. If you got somebody that can, because now this becomes a real first-class rebuild is what it does become. That's what you have here.
pretty much.
I think it would take 3 wins or less for him to be done in
There
1
you
year.
go. Yeah, I think you're right, JD. Three wins or less, he probably has run out because you're looking at 3-14, which is bad. Isn't that the number that it took to get the New England Patriots coach fired until you brought in Mike Vrabel?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to kind of, Samir, I think you kind of have to gauge it that way is what you have to do too.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a question worth, but you know what I would encourage you to do, Samir? I know you like to talk about the Atlanta sports, but with all the, when you come on Fire Up, you're getting such good national exposure. One thing that might be beneficial for you in terms of experience, write about everything. What I would do is come up with your own column, like maybe 2 paragraphs here, and then hit another thing below, and 4 or 5, and all of a sudden you're going to find your name when I tag your stories all over the country to see that this guy's a one-trick pony. And Jeremy will tell you, it could lead to other opportunities, writing opportunities. Jeremy, haven't I done that for you before?
Yes, sir. 100%.
Yeah, so, you know, don't limit yourself to the Atlanta. The way you speak on this show, man, you know, you can put in 2 paragraphs of Atlanta, 2 of the Cowboys, 2 of this and that. And before long, you put together a halfway decent story, and I'm going to send it all over the darn place except Mars and Jupiter. I don't think they have publications up there. Just a little tip. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other.
So we get. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Samir.
I had was that let's say they implode, like they have a really bad season. Pickens doesn't re-sign. Is it possible that CeeDee Lamb wants out too?
After that, didn't he just get his extension?
Yeah, he just got paid too, but it is possible that he could want out.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't see it coming that way because of how much money he was paid. I don't think they can afford to do that.
Right.
I mean, it all depends.
Yeah, but you know what, though, Jeremy? I know Pickens is going to walk after this move because he doesn't think they're closer to winning. So that's a given now that he's going to walk. CeeDee Lamb, you're right, getting paid a lot of money. But there's a couple things that could come into play in this situation. Number one, let's say hypothetically CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. Then what? It's another story. I'm not saying he will, but you never know. Injuries certainly takes one play in this league to boom, you're done. But so I would never say never. I think it's unlikely with Lamb. But again, everything depends on the direction that you're going with this team too. How bad are they going to get?
Will CeeDee Lamb want out? Yes. Will he be able to get out? Probably not. So
there you go.
That's interesting, though. Jim Jackson over here has a great comment. Cheeseheads on tomorrow's podcast are going to be unbearable. I still don't think Parsons lifts the entire team that much. Still issues on the offensive line, including Jordan Love. But that is hilarious. They're gonna be barking on that Packers podcast tomorrow. They can't wait.
Oh yeah,
man. I'm sure Packers fans are just excited right now. In general, they were already going to have a good season, and then to hit a headline like this is huge.
See, Katie,
it hasn't happened in how long? So yes, I would say they are very excited. And not to say anything, but I do know that they saw Micah Parsons around Green Bay before today, and so there have been rumors. I've seen a lot of people posting the last couple of days that they thought that this might happen because they've seen some sightings of Parsons in Green Bay. I never like to talk about things until I see it's for real, you know, but so that's why I waited. But yes. And do I think he's the be all and end all and he's going to propel us above everybody else? No, but he's not going to hurt us.
But in response to the new coordinators and stuff like that, there is one thing I want to add. Last year, we saw an all-pro retire at center and 2 brand new coordinators come in for a little team out of Philly. What they do, they won the Super Bowl.
Right.
So don't say you can't have success with new coordinators and a new center in the next year. Because that guy wasn't a proven vet. That guy was a second-year guy. He was only a second-year guy. He was a backup for a year behind Kelsey. Only had 6 games under his belt when Kelsey did go out with a small injury.
I'm not saying you can't have success. What I'm saying is there have been changes on all of these teams that have made differences, and that is going to make it interesting to see how that correlates with wins on the field. That's what I'm saying, you know, because obviously having a new offensive coordinator, yeah, they can have success, but they're also going to draw up different plays. They're going to have a different playbook. Same with defensive. Same with players. If you're going to skew things and play to their strengths and how they gel when you bring a Parsons on the defense, how is he going to gel with all the other Packers and the new wide receivers? And so that's why they play the game, and that's why I'm excited. Can't wait. I think it is time for me to do a station break, though. So I'm going to take this time to do one. South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our special guest tonight, Scott, the Motor City Mad Mouth Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved and changed, old school media versus new school media. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. And if you like Florida sports, there's all kinds of colleges in Florida sending us information. We have the Florida State Seminoles, the Florida Gators, the Miami Hurricanes, the USF Bulls, and the FAU Owls, all sending us sports-related contents, especially football. So if you have any questions about any of that, go to our website as well. If you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, that means you have not yet subscribed to us. What are you waiting for? But share us, like us, and also turn on the notifications so that you get notified whenever we go live or wherever we put up a video or anything like that. Scott's done numerous videos lately. Previously on preceding this show was No Limits. He actually interviewed a local actress, Rachel. So go check out that. Go check out his interview with Bob Ryan. And then, yes, well, we're gonna get to that yet tonight. There's another one, but go check out our YouTube. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to advertise, call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have any topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Okay, the chat room is blowing up. I see that.
Yeah, Kane or P Digits asked, he was like, I wonder if anyone's confused by our conversation. They're mixing in a little high school football. They've got all kinds of stuff going on over here. Jim Jackson, he said, has got to run. Great show, everybody. And let's see here. Jim, he also said he better hope their back holds up. P Digits, apparently one of his comments got deleted one time, I think. I don't know how, but none of my messages have been canceled tonight. Yay. So none of us have been canceled tonight either. P Digits.
You guys do a great job on this show. I'm just glad to be on it tonight. It's been fun so far.
Thank you,
Oh, yes, sir, man. It is our pleasure to have you here. Someone asked earlier who's the old guy in the comment section. And we didn't get a chance to tell them that we're here. We're all here because of Scott and Candy, of course. But they are the ones that make this whole thing come together at South Florida Tribune. And we are just a part of all of the wheels and all of the bells and everything that you got to use to get this thing going. And so we appreciate having Scott on. We appreciate Candy, of course, and Jeremy and Samir as well. Always love working with you guys, man. Appreciate y'all.
Well, I say one thing, JD, Samir, and Jeremy do a great job on Twitter as well for us. And you guys are all doing great things, and I'm just glad that you're part of it. My goal is to make sure we have talent on every single show every night of the week, and that's exactly what we're doing. Also, I should mention on Saturdays mornings that I have a show called Talking Baseball with former New York Mets manager Mickey Callaway. So if you're looking to go ahead and watch baseball from 9 o'clock to 10 a.m. in the morning, then feel free to join Mickey and I. Our special guest will be Chicago Cubs manager, former Chicago Cubs manager Jim Riggleman. You won't want to miss that as well. And that's a show that it's going to be rolling pretty soon. And as I made an announcement earlier today with Rach, that I'm going to be dividing the one-on-one time up between No Limits and the Motor City Mad Mouse show, as I want to go out there and have a little different balance here between sports and non-sports related stuff. If you've watched the Sports Exchange, Candy will tell you that I like to have a non-sports topic every now and then, and I think it's responded well because the one thing we've tried to do is be very, very versatile as well. And I'm looking forward to the soundbite that Candy's going to play in a moment about a guy who is very, very dear to me. So, it's really good. You guys do a great job here on Thursday night. I am proud of every one of you. Jeremy, you have a special place in my heart. Samir, I'm getting to know you, but what I've seen so far has been outstanding. JD Wyatt, you've come a long way. Candy, what can I say about you? You're the best. Me, I'm just whatever the hell I am. So I've heard it all. It doesn't matter.
We know what you are. You're the Motor City Mad Mouth.
Yeah, that is. I've had people mention this red combination. Does that look all right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look dapper.
Does it?
There's a Scrabble word for everyone there. Dapper. Scott looks dapper.
I don't remember the last time I played Scrabble. I probably find myself playing Sorry more than Scrabble. I haven't played that in a while either.
I miss Monopoly, but gosh, it takes so long.
I know it does.
Man,
but the one thing I can say is
so
everybody on this crew always plays chess, no matter whether you're playing with everybody out there, Samir, just so you know. We all play chess in order to survive in this world, man.
Okay.
Amen.
Amen. All right, Candy.
Well, Scott, you had a segment you wanted you wanted a clip that you wanted me to play.
Yeah, I do.
I think it's a good time for me to put in a clip.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you on Fire Up is Scott Morganroth interviewing who I don't want to tell you yet.
There you go.
And now I will. Candy, maybe let's see if we can maybe do that solo layout and see if that'll bring it up a little bit. No, not really. I was trying to get the video there. I was trying to get the video a little bit.
I made it better.
Yeah, that was it. All right, y'all tune in to Scott and Don Mattingly.
There you go.
Yeah, Donnie Baseball.
So let's talk about Mattingly Charities. How proud of you are you of Mattingly Charities and what you're trying to do? The floor is now yours.
Well, extremely proud. Probably as proud of that as almost anything that I've been able to do in the game is now having a chance to change the help be a part of changing the city and kids and give kids in underserved areas and kids that don't have the same opportunities as others, get them an opportunity to have a better life and be a better citizen and all those kind of things and make your town better. So really proud of what's going on with Mattingly Charities.
Well, Don, you look great in pinstripes, let alone any jersey that you're in. But I am so glad that we had an opportunity here in Miami to talk not only our history, but where you're at. And I hope and pray, like everybody on the planet, that a World Series ring gets to you one way or another. Because if anybody deserves it, it is you.
I appreciate
Okay.
There you go. My real good friend, Don Mattingly. And then there's a lot of other stuff that everybody can go out to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel as we talked a lot of things. But the one thing Don Mattingly, I'll tell you right now, and he downplays his Hall of Fame snub so far, is he takes a lot of pride with what he does with Mattingly Charities. And that's the one thing I wanted to make sure that we were able to get in tonight here on Fire Up. The thing that's so good about this show that I've seen the way it's developed is you guys do a lot of different things. When I first began this show many years ago with Mark Mancini, it was designed to be a second version of the Sports Exchange. And that's what Mark and I were going to do. But all of a sudden, Mark disappeared, okay, and then Candy earned the opportunity to do her own show, and then she took this upon herself to make it her own, create her own identity with a lot of individuals that could create chemistry for themselves. Jeremy's done a great job for a long time. I'm glad he's back because I knew when I brought you back, Jeremy, that we were certainly going to have some stabilization. JD Wyatt's done an unbelievable job. Samir, you've been quite an addition. And that other guy from another network called RW, okay, knows about as much sports to me as a dead person, okay? And that's just what I think. I mean, it's what it is. If he wants to say anything about me, I'm not giving an opportunity to go viral with me because the only reason he got all the subscribers is because because the truth hurts, Jack Nicholson would say. Why do I say it tonight? Because I don't really care. But all I know is where this show is now and the content that we have. Jeremy will tell you that one thing that I can tell you right now, and JD, you figuring it out, Samir, you're figuring Content is king. Content is king.
Absolutely.
JD, you do a heck of a job with what you're doing in South Carolina.
Oh, yes, sir. Yep.
You just told me you have your deal with Georgia Tech. That's unbelievable. And Jeremy, what can I say? You've come a long way.
And I was blessed and honored that you took me along and got me credentials to be at the draft in Detroit.
You deserved it. What the performance that you went out there when everybody decided to get the hell out of there, you kept broadcasting. And here, Kane says, I'm here for Scott. People says, why not? I like beefing with people. You think I'm the Motor City Mild Mouth? I'm not spending $5,000 to recreate that one. No, man is good enough. I'll beef with somebody. But Kane says, you're good people, in my opinion. But Jeremy, you earned your stripes over at the NFL draft. You did. You saw me that one time over there with what? Mel Owens? Snap him out of nowhere. What was the first reaction that you were there when you saw me snapping him?
Like, it was awesome. What else can I say?
Well, I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to lead by example. And you stood there and watched it, and all of a sudden, hey, this is my boss. And I said, boy, there you go. But you went out there and made some good contacts and did some great stuff.
And what did I do when Terrion was on the podium up there?
Who?
When Terrion Arnold, our first round pick.
You tell me.
I asked a question, and you actually were impressed with the question I asked.
Well, why wouldn't I be, for crying out loud?
No, because what I was saying is the ones that we when I first started trying to get, and I was being timid,
right?
And I couldn't get my question in, so I finally sounded off, and I got my question in. Everybody else was asking, "Who's your inspiration? What's it going to be like to play with Brian Branch again? What did you guys do when you went out together last night?"
Right.
I said, I want to know what it was back in 2022 when you were benched the 4 games, what you learned while you were on the bench. I already know why you had it. I want to know what you learned.
Right.
Great question. And he answered it pretty well. You sat there and weren't afraid to ask a tough question, and he gave you a good answer. People cannot be afraid to ask tough questions. Now, what I've learned is if I'm going to ask a tough question when I'm talking to somebody, it's okay as long as you word it properly and you're not offensive. And the way you came across with that question is something that I put in my book called The Velvet Hammer. And that's what Jeremy Bolrick used. He used the velvet hammer is what he did. And that's why the question came across as intelligent and credible. And you know what, JD Wyatt and Samir, you guys know what that'll be all about. You can ask tough questions. Don't be afraid to do it. We're not here to play patty cake baker's man. That's not what the media is all about. If you can't go ahead and stand in there and tough it up and be afraid to ask certain questions, then you don't belong in a business. This business is for weaklings.
I love good creative questions. And that was a great question, Jeremy, that you asked. And so here's a question for everybody. You want to see if I can derail this show really quickly with just one comment? I jokingly commented that Waffle House was changing their logo. And since then, of course, Waffle House, food, sports, it always ends up going together. So we've got some Waffle House chat going on over here. I'm hungry. I could go for some Waffle House.
So could I, and I'm going to tell you right now, it would be scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, topped, and diced.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
There you go. I was actually what I was going to ask is, anybody got a go-to meal? Samir, what are you getting at the Waffle House, bro?
Yeah, surprisingly, I don't go to Waffle House that often, but my go-to is a T-bone steak with hash browns. You can't go wrong with it when you go to Waffle House.
And you got a million of them in Georgia.
Right. I just don't go
got
there.
one on every exit. Can't tell you how many times I've been up there, one on every exit there. I mean, Waffle House is king in Atlanta, or at least pretty close.
Yeah, that's shocking that you don't go that often. What about you, Scott? What's your go-to at Waffle House?
Let me tell you, I like those hash browns, the triple version of them, burnt and well done. You can either give me a patty melt with a ton of pickles, or you give me a grilled cheese sandwich with a ton of pickles, either one, depending on what I'm in the mood for. And give me those hash browns, burn them so I can go ahead and use up the entire bottle of Heinz 57s because I go through a bottle putting them on those hash browns.
That's funny. I love hash browns too, but I'm opposite in 2 ways, and they're very similar actually. So I go lightly cooked though on my hash browns versus the well done like you. I like mine still. I don't like them mushy or cold, but I don't like them being too crisp really. And then I use A1 on my hash browns, not 50.
Well, if they don't have 57, I use A1. That's my backup plan. I either go one or the other. I won't use ketchup, and I don't really use the barbecue sauce, but I go either one of those two. But I like everything burnt and crispy, but there's nothing wrong with that. Waffle House is really good. I haven't been there in a while.
Man, yeah, I'm hungry now. Candy, what are you getting at the Waffle House?
I'm just getting a burger with hash browns. I'm going to get the hash browns. I do not like mine well done like Scott. And the problem is when we go a lot of places and he orders his extra crispy, like his fries or anything like that, then they do mine more. And I'm like, no, don't do it. But it is what it is.
Hey, last night on the Sports Exchange, we went crazy with Cracker Barrel. That's the first thing I let off with. Jeremy, I know that you were busy with your Wednesday programming, and that's okay. I got no problem with it because I can find other places for you on a Wednesday. But I'm going to tell you one thing different about that Sports Exchange on Wednesday. I'll tell you one thing. I'll use those non-sports topics. I'll use anything I can to show the change of pace. And I'm glad what you're doing on Wednesday is good. But I'm going to tell you something, man. The gunslinger approach is what I have no matter what damn show I'm doing, whether it's on the videos, whether it's on Sports Exchange, whether it's on this occasional show here on Fire Up and whatever, and what I did with Ray earlier. Who cares? It's content. It's fun. You're passionate about it. You enjoy it. Who the heck cares? Keep watching. Keep spreading the word. We got talent here, my people. I got four damn good ones here tonight.
Yes, sir. And we've got great commenters, too. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yep. Waffle House got a special spot in my heart because I moved to Tennessee in '95 when I left Michigan, when I started my southern tour of living outside the state. And Waffle House became a staple. It was every Friday night after the bars closed in Columbia, Tennessee. I would go there at 3:30 in the morning and order my hash browns, and then every Sunday morning before church, I would go back and actually get a breakfast.
I'm going back to Cracker Barrel, man. They got some of the best Thanksgiving meals, and I love my fried apples.
I love a good breakfast. And so to tie all this together, we've got P Digits. He says an all-star sounds great. Smothered, covered, diced on the hash browns. Kane says you can cook my hash browns any way you want and give me some pecan pie with butter. That sounds pretty delicious. P Digits, over easy, sausage, raisin toast. And let me get a few more of the food comments, and then I've got a comment from Kenny I want to read, and then we can move right on along after that, Miss Candy. Let's see. The waffle is for the dessert. If you get the all-star, of course. It's the only way to do it. Oprah has made a living on asking the tough questions. Kane, if I'm a journalist and I'm not being cursed out by a coach or a GM, I would consider myself a bad journalist. We've got Patty, biscuits and gravy. All right. Let's see. First time I went to a Waffle House was in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was in the same parking lot as a Motel 6. Strawberry waffles, cheesy hash browns. And then that was Big Dan commenting there. And then, okay, let me get up here to Kenny's comment. Where did Kenny's comment go? It was back to the Kenny Clark conversation that we were having earlier, if I can find it. It was Antonio Benton. The Kenny Clark thing might be the only thing in the trade that was questionable. But then again, we have sleepers at defensive tackle, and Dallas needed a run stuffer too. But overall, both teams won. It's not just one side.
All right, so let me add this. First time I ever went to Cracker Barrel was actually out in North Carolina near Gastonia. I used to get free coupons from the Rangers, so I used to go there. That's when I got wind of it there when I was working for the Gastonia Rangers. And if you haven't heard the name before, Sammy Sosa was on that team, Juan Gonzalez, and a bunch of other guys. I was the director of public relations there. That was pretty good stuff over there. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed about Cracker Barrel. I mean, you know, the whole idea is Cyberuski, Joshua Dore, you guys cotton picking crazy or what? If all times I'm talking about food, you guys are somewhere else and not here. Shame, 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 as Gomer Pyle would say. We're talking food, and these clowns aren't even on the show, and I'm on it. Sure, although I'll get 6 of these cotton picking group calls from them all day long anyway. But they're talking food, and these guys aren't even on it. Go ahead.
When we get done with this, I'm going to cook some food because I'm starving. I haven't ate yet.
Why, we worked up an appetite with you with all the food that we've had. I'm probably sure we helped you get closer to the kitchen, right?
So I do want to report, I don't think anyone's going to want to come to Wisconsin to be a quarterback. Edwards has been ruled out of the game coming out. He suffered a non-contact left knee injury while making a handoff in the second quarter. He was able to limp off the field under his own power, though. But they don't know, and he's not going to be back in. So,
Man, that's tough.
first game of the season again. Bad luck. So,
that would be one of the worst things in the world to me, honestly. Like it takes a really strong, mentally like focused person to withstand something like that. Think about it. You spend your entire off season training, practicing, prepping to get better, to be better. Practice every day. You work hard, and everything you work for is gone before you even get warmed up, really. Man, that's heartbreaking.
I love the fact that you brought up egg, because I was thinking about doing shrimp and chicken stir fry, and you got to have egg in your stir fry.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Is it my town time?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do my
Candy,
town.
I can say one thing about this show with me on. Your voice isn't getting worn out, because yours truly had enough energy today that I've had in about 7 days. And I have to tell you, it's been fun coming on this show. It really has. I wear. She comes on all of our shows just about every day during the week, and she does a heck of a job the way she comes up with all these stats. And now tonight, for some reason, my voice, got the itch to hang out with you guys. It's been fun.
Well, speaking of that, Scott, since you're already talking, you can start off the segment, My Town. Go for it.
No, I don't do that. And I am gonna go to my alma mater. We mentioned it earlier. They beat Boise State 34-7. USF is going to face 3 top 25 opponents in the first over the next few weeks. First test is what they ended up doing against Boise State. Now they end up going up to Florida. They'll have a tough task against the Florida Gators, and they come down to Miami to take on the Miami Hurricanes. Alex Golish is a heck of a coach. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Dan Campbell, a little bit with his personality and demeanor. So I hope he does pretty well. It'll be interesting to watch USF play against Miami, because obviously with me being a Canes guy like I am, and as I should be, I haven't missed a game at home since I started this a few years ago, and we've gone to selective road games. So that'll be a good game to look forward to. But I hope USF does well. And I'm looking forward to the fact that they've finally begun breaking ground to a new on-campus stadium that should open up in about 2 or 3 years. It'll seat about 35,000. So go Bulls is really what I'm going to say. And I'm going to kind of leave it at that.
P Digits, I want to say I try and get to as many comments and putting them up as possible. Sometimes when they're coming in fast and furious, I don't get them all up. I apologize, but I try. So, Samir,
he's good. He's fine.
Samir, what's happening in your town?
Nothing much on the Atlanta Hawks side of things. Only thing I can say is that Kristaps Porzingis and Zachary Ricochet are playing international basketball in their respective countries. The Atlanta Braves. So I went to go to the gym earlier today. The Braves are beating the Phillies 3-0. So I come back and the score is 19-4. They end up losing 19-4. Kyle Schwarber, 4 home runs.
It wasn't the cycle of home runs, was it? The solo, the 2-run, the 3-run, and the grand slam.
And he hit 4 of them. They lose 19-4 to a Phillies team that just got swept by the Mets in Queens. The Mets end up losing to the Marlins 7-4 tonight. With the Falcons, they offensive line takes a big blow. They lose their blindside blocker, Kayla McGarry, for the season. That's a huge loss for us. Obviously there's not going to be a lot of quality or starting caliber tackles around at this point right before the season starts. We trade a conditional 7th in 2026 for Michael Jarrell from the Seahawks. We sign Ryan Hayes from the Miami Dolphins practice squad. We signed Jarrett Carter from the New York Jets. There's also a possibility that one of Elijah Wilkinson or Jack Nelson ends up being that blindside blocker until our swing tackle, Storm Norton, comes back. And the thing about it is that Kayla McGarry has improved in his pass protection, But where we're going to miss him is in the run game. He's a very good run blocker. Storm Norton, the backup, who's also injured, will be back at around week 5, I believe. Week 5, week 6, is a better pass blocker than McGarry. So we just need someone to make sure Michael Penix doesn't get hurt or can survive in the pocket and protect his blind side until Storm Norton comes back. I think what you're going to see is it's going to have to be like a team effort. Bijan Robinson is one of the better pass blocking backs in the NFL. You've got Charlie Warner, who's a pretty good pass blocking tight end. So it's going to be a collective effort. And that's it for my town.
So Samir, I have a question for you. Do you ever cover Atlanta Hawks games at all? You ever gotten anyone?
Yeah, I covered 3 last year.
All right. So listen, the next time you go ahead and cover a Hawk game where you're prepared to get approved, let me know. And then you should reach out to Steve Holman Sr. He came on my show, Motor City Badmouth show. He'd be a good guy for you to write a story on as well. He's the iconic radio voice of the Hawks. Let me know ahead of time. And then I want you to go out there and talk to the guy. He was on my show, and now you'll have a connection through me as well. All right?
All right.
He'd be a great get for somebody like you, and you're building a good track record. Steve Holman Sr. I don't know if I sent you the video of him, but we'll make sure that Candy sends it to you so you can check up on it. Because if you get to Hawk game, that would be a big home run for you, pal. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, go ahead, Candy. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. So JD, you were asking Samir about if it was a 1-run, 2-run, if he had the cycle. He had a solo, a 2-run, a 3-run, and another 3-run. So
man.
And he
damn
had
near
it
hit the cycle
too. Yep.
That's wild.
Yep.
That's a monster day. So what was that RBI? So 6 RBIs, 9 RBIs, 4 home runs.
9 RBIs by one guy.
Wow.
He's gonna he should win national MVP. He should win the MVP this year.
So mine's gonna be quick and simple.
Go for it,
for
Jeremy.
my town. The Tigers clinched the division. What did I say 6 weeks ago when I got back on here? It's a slump. They'll be okay. What did they do? They went 19-11 over their last 30 games after having a sub 500 record in July. It reminded me exactly of what I said. The 84 Tigers when they slumped after the All-Star break and then barely won by 5 games at the end of the season. So, hey, they're dancing again. And on Lions front, the Lions have signed defensive end Andre Carter to their practice squad, the UDFA from the Vikings that came in for when a couple people were hurt a couple years ago. So he is now a Lion on the practice squad.
JD, what is happening in your town?
So in my town, college football, the most beautiful thing in the world, is back. I mentioned earlier, we'll be at the Furman Paladins game. We will have a kickoff show there, TGFF, thank God for football. I am the host of that show, so y'all make sure to hit subscribe on me at Southern Fried Sports JD. You can find me on X at JDY06. And like I said, college football, though, that's mainly what I was going to speak about here. And Kane, he has one of his comments that I will use for my town, if I can find it. Let's see. JD, for my town. The Tigers are entering Death Valley Saturday to be destroyed and embarrassed. Hint, I'm not talking about the Clemson Tigers. We have the Battle of the Death Valley. Who has the real Death Valley? Is it Clemson or is it LSU? I say that it's LSU. USC. We talking about Southern Cal. We talking about South Carolina. When I say USC, it's South Carolina. I don't understand how we let them take our name. We were a state, or we were a school before they were a state. Okay? So the real USC is in Columbia, South Carolina. But the real Death Valley will be battled for this weekend when LSU faces Clemson. And then, of course, the Virginia Tech Hokies, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Can Lenore Sellers play like a Heisman Trophy candidate? Is the game going to be sloppy with turnovers and fumbles and missed assignments? whoever limits the big plays, I think, will win the game for South Carolina and Virginia Tech, and also the Clemson game. Whoever can eliminate the big plays, I'm talking the 20-plus yard plays, whoever wins that battle will win both of these games. And so for my town, that's pretty much all I got. College football is back, and I can't wait. I'll be in a stadium on Saturday, baby. Let's go.
And we'll be in one on Sunday, and I'm still buying Bullrick, okay, that I think LSU is in trouble and Brian Kelly's in trouble if he can't have a pretty decent year. And now let me just give everybody a little tip here on a future edition of Inside the Pigskin. I'm going to be having another NIL guy come on by the name of Andre Davis, who approached me, right, Candy? So we're just trying to get the schedules to coordinate on that as well. So, Jeremy, at some point or another, I will get you back on it. I don't know when, but if I were you, my friend, I'd be watching it a little bit more to get familiar with the cast of characters that eventually you might be lining up with. It's become what you thought the show was good before, Jeremy. It's a whole lot better with the group that I have as well. But I'm just trying to tip everybody out there. But I'm with Jeremy. The LSU Tigers could be in trouble if they don't have a halfway decent year. And, you know, I like to see Clemson. One of my bucket list items, actually, JD, is to get up to Clemson to see a game at Dabo Swinney. You never know. Right now,
yeah.
I'm just
I'm sure that Kane and P. Digits, my resident Clemson fans, would absolutely welcome you with open arms because I riled them up a little bit with the Death Valley thing.
Well, the one thing I'll say about the Miami Hurricanes, their PR staff has always had my back up to this point. And as long as they continue to have my back when the situation presents itself, I travel. They've always done right by us. So I love working with the Miami Hurricanes. They're truly a great partner. They really, really are. And when you can be lined up with a class school like that, it's pretty cool. And, you know, Jeremy, for it's worth too, pal, I'm on the Michigan Wolverines mailing list as well.
Oh, cool.
And see, I've only ever done Furman, and so they have great people there too. I can only imagine as we get deeper into this, how many amazing people we're going to meet through, you know, SIDs, ADs, sport. You know what I mean? Sports information directors, athletic directors. Can't wait. But I did rile the guys up a little bit with the Clemson comment. P. Digit says it's not a battle when one was named before the other, but anyways. And then P. Digits, he says the Gamecocks beat the Trojans to more than 600 losses. At least they got that going for them. Kane, Frank Howard literally brought an artifact from Death Valley with him and called it Death Valley when LSU was Death Valley. Wow. Kane. Y'all are hilarious. Good, great. And they're trying to get me up at 7:30 in the morning to go to Waffle House. I don't know. It might happen. I don't know.
Well, the amazing thing that people have to understand, if you have the right communications people and you have the right PR people and they work the way they're supposed to work, you can do some incredible damage is all I'm going to say. But nowadays, it's a much different animal. When I've had Tom Gage on, you know, Jeremy's familiar with Tommy, right? And I've had Bob Ryan on, and the list goes on and on. The communications guy will make or break you if they're not coming through like they need to do. And I've dealt with it on a lot of different levels. Some of them lay an egg, and some of them are good ones. You're going to go back to them. All you have to do is attend the University of Miami Media Day and even the Pro Day, Candy, and let these guys know that I got, 12 interviews in 70 minutes? They don't all have to be books and long. Craig Mish, when I was at the Marlins game last week, complimented me on my Marlins on the interview with Don Manley. Scotty, I thought you were going 15 minutes, and you only went 9. I'm proud of you, man. You got to keep them short. And if anybody knows anything about Craig Mish down in Miami, this guy's one of the most credible people and a mentor who's like a bro and a dear friend of mine. Anything he says, it goes in one ear, not out the other. So that's the thing. Your communications people, JD, you deal with these people, will make or break it. Jeremy, obviously, one of these days we'll get you into some college games. We just ran across a dud up in your neck of the woods. It doesn't mean we won't keep trying, because I will try to get you some next game day experience. We just have to find the right situation where a guy that'll do what we need him to do. I haven't given up on that with you by any means, Jeremy. It's just a matter of how we set it up. Go ahead. Sorry, Candy, I'm almost taking over your show. That's probably why I don't come on a lot. But but hey, this is a rare opportunity for me to interact with your peeps, and they seem to be taking it all in pretty good.
Oh yeah, we've got Big Dan Davis. He drops us a tidbit in the comment section. Bryce Underwood will be the first true freshman quarterback to start for Michigan since 2009. Tate Forcier, I believe is what he's saying there.
Yep.
I'm pretty
Tate
stoked for
Forcier.
Michigan. Yep. For Michigan versus New Mexico Saturday night, man. Everybody's ready for their team to play. The unfortunate thing is you will still not know your team after this one game.
Oh, I agree.
It'll take 2 or 3 games, maybe even longer, before you truly know what you have as a football team. Hopefully everybody remains happy and loves their football team.
Amen.
But we all know that that's not going to be the case. So I'm ready for X to explode with all the football talk. I'm ready for a reaction show. I can't wait. I mean, I'm sitting here watching Nebraska-Cincinnati now. Cincinnati just scored a touchdown. Going to make the score 13-10 with Nebraska with about 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Great football all around. Great show all around. Candy, what else we got?
You were going to present something, weren't you?
No. I didn't. I just had it up just in case. I mean, I can look something up and find it real quick. I got, as a matter of fact, here I got one for you. Did y'all see the Matt Leinart thing? If I can find my mouse.
With this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Has anybody else seen it?
Mm-mm.
Scott?
Oh, it's hilarious.
No, I can't say I have, JD.
Okay, here, I'll find it real quick. Give me 1 second, Candy.
Yep.
Won't take me but 2 seconds. So yeah, Matt Leinart, his son, and this is what I said too, I think. I hope that my child never uses AI or Google or Alexa to ask what I am. Like, don't ask about your daddy into the internet, because there's no telling what it might say. It could possibly say, this idiot tried to create Southern Fried Sports and it failed miserably and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want my son hearing that. I don't want, stuff like that to come out. And so this is Matt Leinart, though. Candy, if you are ready, I am ready on my side. Let's see here. Pull it up.
Alexa, here's Matt Leinart.
From LeagueSports.com. Matt Leinart was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback at USC and a top 10 NFL draft pick, but his pro career didn't amount to much.
Were y'all able to catch that there, Foley?
Yep.
But his pro career did not amount to much. Yeah. Wasn't he picked by the Patriots?
He was picked by the Cardinals, I think.
God. Cardinals. Yep, that's it. I was about to say I know, but I couldn't think of it. But yeah, that was hilarious. Matt Leinart, man, got roasted by Alexa. His pro career didn't amount to much.
That's true.
If my son ever looks anything up on the internet, it'll probably say the same thing about me. You didn't amount to much, JD.
Any other topics you guys want to talk about tonight?
I was looking through the NCAA scores, and we did have a massive blowout tonight in the Christian division. The Houston Christian Huskies over the Arkansas Baptist Buffaloes. They whooped the snot out of them 69-0.
Wow. Wow.
You got me. I'm not flipping my hat, but you definitely got me speechless on that score.
I'm just saying, every now and then there's always a big blowout, and it doesn't come from the big schools you think it would. But Duke handedly beat somebody 45-0. So,
Yeah, well, it's different. You're talking Duke compared to what you just brought up. But the one thing I'll give Baller credit for this one, because I do come up with off the wall stuff. I really do. Kudos, Jeremy. That was as off the wall as you get, and you definitely learned from the Tribune system by coming up with that score. I'm proud of you there. Take when you eat. Remember what I told you tonight. That was good work.
Thank you.
I'm not giving you the hat flipping it, but I'll give you the compliment. And you got
now you wear a
speechless for
headset. That's a little hard on you.
Yeah, that's true.
With that being said, I think we're going to go around the horn, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. So, Samir, how can people find you?
You can find me on here Thursday nights on Fire Up. You can also find me on X. My handle is right down there. I post a lot of my articles, some Atlanta sports content there. So that's where you can find me. It was a pleasure as always. I'm looking forward to next week. That is our next show is going to be around the same time of the NFL kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do a live watch party for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and well, since I went ahead and spoke there, I'll go ahead and tell everyone, make sure to subscribe at Southern Fried Sports JD. Make sure to hit like. Even listen, I don't care if you listen to the show all the time. I don't care if you think my opinions are dumb. Come make fun of me. We had a blast in this chat this evening. Dan, P Digits, Kane. We had Tesla. We had Tim and Tony and Sharon and Patty and Zach. I mean, when the chat's like this, it helps make the show fun, especially when the chats are interactive. So make sure to hit subscribe and like on everyone. And find me on X, JDWyatt06. And I will throw this ball to Jeremy.
You can find me here on Thursday nights. You can also find my writings on the Motor City Tribune under the SouthFloridaTribune.com website. You can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, where I talk about the Lions every day at noon for at least a half hour, up to an hour. And on Wednesday and Thursday nights, when I have my NFL roundtable talks on Wednesday at 9, and the Lions Fan Cave chat at 9 p.m. And I go live everywhere.
Okay, Scott, I know you kind of go
Well,
with me.
yeah, but I do want to have a couple nice shout outs. Number one, shout out to JD Wyatt. You know, we met you through somebody else and you stayed the course and stayed with us. I'm really proud of you that you made that decision because you've been a heck of an addition for us. And I'm really proud of what you've done and the integrity that you stand for. So more power to you. We enjoy having you on the other shows when you want to come on. But more importantly, I want to thank you for sharing our content on Twitter as well. Samir, you're a diamond in the rough, man. You've come a long way. The potential with you is unlimited. I'm glad that, you know, through Sideline Sports that we were able to bring you here. And I'm sure that when we continue to get them going again, you're still being an intricate part of what we're doing. What can I say, Jeremy? I mean, you know, you've come a long way in our system. I'm glad you're back in the system and that and you do an awesome job, Candy. What can I say? It's been a pleasure being a guest on the show. I know you're not losing your voice because yours truly probably overextended is a little bit tonight. But this was fun. I get to see how far this show has come. And when I see you guys are all you are thoroughbreds on this show, it makes me feel good that we have excellent shows across the board throughout the week. A few things to look forward to over the weekend with us is this. Tomorrow night on New York MLB Talk, I'll be on with Mickey Callaway tomorrow night. So New York MLB Talk, we're going to be talking about the show that I have created with Mickey Callaway, the Mets manager, which, by the way, does compete with another show that Jeremy and the rest are all too familiar with from 9 to 10 o'clock. But that's okay. I don't view that as competition anyways. But 9 to 10 on with Mickey and I is a very wise viewing choice. Okay. And also, so that's on Saturday. And the Talking Baseball, that'll be with Jim Riggleman. And, of course, tomorrow night, I'll be with Rob. I'll be with Chris, and I'll be with, obviously, myself and Mickey talking about it. So have a manager on there who's a great resource when he's on the air. Looking forward to building that show and have a lot of other good shows in the works. But I'm proud of what Fire Up has become. Candy, you and the group have made me a really proud publisher of this platform. And with the people you have on here, it's an excellent show to watch. And I only look forward to seeing the continued growth that every one of you have really gone out there and put into it. I'm proud of all of you. That's all I have to say. Go ahead, Katie.
The one thing I would say about the country club is every week one of us steps up and takes more of a lead role and stuff like that. So tonight, Scott, you were a guest. Took a little bit more of a lead role, but that's the beauty of the country club is that we pass the baton off and let everybody take their turn. So we loved having you on. With that being said, let me do my spiel again. South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our guest, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. Check out everybody's YouTube channel and subscribe and hit the notification so you're notified when any one of us goes live. We love having comments and the people coming in the chat room. It makes the show not just us talking, but us interacting with you as well, because there might be points that you guys would bring up that none of us thought about. With that being said, if you want to advertise or you know somebody that wants to advertise or sponsor a show, get them in touch with Scott, 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or if you have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Well, let's see. The chat room's going again. Look at all this. Going.
It's always going.
I know. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
You want me to say my famous saying for you?
You can. Go for it.
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. I hope you all have a blessed weekend. The only thing that I have personally going on is last week I lost my great uncle, and this week I lost my second cousin. So,
my deepest condolences, Jeremy.
Thank you. And Patty lost a 6-year battle with cancer, my cousin.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, very sorry to hear that. But yes, as Jeremy said, did you finish your saying?
Yes, I did.
Be a better person. And I hope that you be blessed, not stressed, and just be kind to one another. Dang it.
So, P Digits, you want to be a guest on the panel? Is that what you're saying? You want to come on one of our shows? Let me know.
Yeah, he'll do it. He's been on my show before. He'll do it.
You can email me at southfloridatribune@gmail.com and we'll get you on.
Thank you, Shane.
I'll make sure he gets that email. P Digits family is everything. That's right. God bless you and your family, Jeremy. Kane says. Yep.
The more the merrier. I love to bring on new talent, new people, voices, and bring this guy on. If he wants to be on the panel, looking forward to having him on there.
Oh, yeah. P Digits, my guy. Kane, they're my guy. They're my guys. They're my resident comedians. They, boy, they say some crazy things sometimes, but I love every minute of it.
Kane, and what I would say, if you ever want to write, you can write. It's not a paid position for us, but if you want to write, we'll put it up on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, as long as it's not religion or politics. That's the only thing. But yeah, we'd more than happy to have you on part of the team.
I hear these guys saying they're ugly to be on a panel, but I'm here.
I'm here.
Me too.
I'm so ugly.
Hey, you can do this. Boop. Bye.
Hey, guess what? I'm so ugly as a kid, they spoon-fed me by slingshot.
Had to tie a pork chop around your neck. Just get the dog to play with you.
Well, Jeremy, I'll give you this. You got 2 no comments out of me on one show.
That being said, I'm going to sign off, guys. I want everybody to enjoy opening weekend with the college games. Enjoy the games that are on. May your team win or have success, whatever that means. And we'll see you back here next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.